And welcome back, RJB here with another video of Starcraft Fastest Map Remastered, just for you. So actually I wanted to wait a couple more days because the weekend is going to be a little bit colder than it is today. The temperature here has been not unbearable, but it's been pretty hot, and the hotness of the weather isn't too motivating to cast matches because well, the temperature has been around 24-25 degrees Celsius, which should be about 76 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 79. Not too sure what the exact number on that one is. Maybe it's close to 79, I think. Anyway, the problem is that the sun is on the front part of my house the entire day. So in my house it can get a lot warmer, specifically in the rooms where I have my computer, my mic. That one's pretty much getting the sun on it the entire day through, which means it's pretty much 4 to 5 degrees warmer in that room than it is outside or in the rest of the house. So I might have to consider moving my stuff to a different room. Anyway, next week we're gonna have about 31 degrees Celsius, which is about 88 degrees Fahrenheit. So I figured I might as well just start casting stuff now instead of postponing it, because next week is going to be pretty painful, at least for the standards here in my country. We're not used to this kind of heat. We're not used to it. It really hits us really hard. Anyway, so you might be wondering, who is this 65aisduhiasd guy? Who is it? Who is this magenta, or maybe it's pink? Who is this magenta or pink Protoss? It's the player Luckyback. He's playing the Protoss. For once, he doesn't play it all that often. Most of the times he plays Zerg or Terran against other players. And here we have the white Terran, who is the player SobijaMajor, who we already met in the previous replay. He was the Protoss. He goes by the name aMeba. That's the name he's known by to most. And he is already planning on being rather aggressive with his start here. Started off with an 8-10 barracks, of course, which facilitates this aggression, and he managed to find his opponent on pretty much the very first attempt. That's why we can see this little abuse happening here. He's trying to take down a cannon. He's got more Marines and SCVs there on the way, but Luckyback is being pretty smart because he made 3 cannons in total, which means he's only going to lose a single cannon. And he pulls some probes to the front there, but all 3 probes there go down, but cannon there on the bottom side finishes up, and this cannon there also is going to finish up. This one is being left. Well, he cancelled it and built a new one, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, all cannons finish up, 2 SCVs go down, all the Marines stay alive and are pulled back to safety. And Luckyback lost 3 probes, but that's something he can afford at the moment. Likewise, Sobija lost 2 SCVs, so the trade-off is not all that bad for Luckyback or for aMeba. So both players are somewhat equal at the moment, but Luckyback has got his tech on the way, whereas aMeba City is going for +2 command center to boost up his economy, and he discontinued Marine production quite early on. He's only got 3 Marines there inside of his base, 2 barracks, and there's an academy there on the way. He's got mining from 2 gas already, which is honestly a little bit early to be mining from 2 gas at 3:30. I always personally prefer to go for a single gas and very slowly transition into more barracks and factories, but aMeba, of course, is, I think, a better player than I am, so he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Although, yeah, the income is quite low. There's only 9 SCVs there on the minerals, because most of those SCVs have been put on the gas there. And that's kind of the reasoning behind it. You pull SCVs from the minerals to the gas, which means less mineral income. And you can really notice that in the amount of minerals he's getting and the speed at which he's building his base. Although he's going to catch up with those 2 command centers and add on more SCVs very quick, very soon, but it's going to take a while, and it will postpone and delay his ability to get a pretty good response to what Luckyback is trying to set up here in his base, because he's got a Citadel of Doom up running there on the top side, and he's got a Robo facility on the way here on the bottom side, and the Citadel of Doom coming down before the Robo leads me to believe he's going for a Templar's Archive first, because he wants to get those Dark Templars or those High Templars rather early, instead of going for the standard double Reaver drop build. Down there on the top side gets spotted out by those Marines. He's being very aggressive with those Marines, sending them out of the base, not waiting inside of his base, but instead trying to touch and feel, see what he can do on the other side of the map. Luckyback definitely overspent on his cannons here. Went for a total of 6 cannons, but maybe that's because these two were on low HP, but nonetheless, he could have been fine with only 4. But then again, of course, he never saw what aMeba had going inside of his base, so he's kind of just going off of what he would be doing if he was a Terran, which was playing a way more aggressive style than aMeba is playing right now, because aMeba is mostly planning on just scaling up his economy and trying to outpace Luckyback with the income that he will have in the near future. Because both players are somewhat on equal worker counts, or income is about the same, although we do have to keep in account that SobijaMajor or aMeba has a lot of SFVs building stuff, whereas Luckyback has 9 probes on the gas and is only building with 1 or 2 probes in total. Although he's adding on 2 more gazers really early, so that's gonna be a lot of gas income, probably more than he would need. He's got Storm on the way, he's got Graphitic boosters on the way for his shuttles, aka shuttle speed, and he'll have Templars on the way very soon as well. Robo number 2 there in the front, building a Reaver. Zealotlax also on the way, and I think he's gonna queue up Templars or Zealots. He's going for Zealots first. Leaves one open, but he goes for 4 Zealots. 4 Zealots and a Reaver. He's going to go for late Templars despite the very early Templar tech. Maybe he wants to go for a drop with Reavers and then immediately follow that drop up with a Templar drop. Maybe that's why the timing is the way it is right here. Although we don't see this timing very often. Most of the time you either see all in on the high Templars, no Reavers, or you see all in on the Reavers with very late high Templars. So aMeba is starting to build a choker in the front, being smart, not putting Marines in the bunkers, but putting Firebats in there because he knows that most likely it's going to be Zealots trying to run through the front and break through the front, and Firebats and bunkers really put a halt to that option. Makes it impossible for the Zealots to break through the front here because the Firebats can shoot this little distance there because they get 1 extra distance from the bunker. There's a dropship already on the already finished. It's gonna pick up 2 tanks, I'm sure, and try to go for a drop there on the probes. But it looks like Luckyback is planning to go for a frontal attack here. And there's no tanks here in the near vicinity, although I think aMeba might try to load up tanks here up on the hill once he notices or feels that he needs to, or he might still go for the tank drop. Dropship is going to the front and loads there to the front, wants to stop this push with the Reavers from happening. Takes some damage. No, he takes no damage on the... He goes with the Zealots. Reaver's still alive. Reaver's unloaded next to the choke point there. Tries to get some damage out on the bunkers there, but the bunkers there are killing those Zealots very, very quick. But just take down at least a lot of Marines there. A lot of Marines going down there to the Scarabs. Now means he got Linlow in the base and get the tank there in the back and keep the shuttle alive. Shuttle micro here is absolutely phenomenal and manages to get out with taking down pretty much the entire mass that aMeba had there in his base, except for the Wraith there, of course. The tanks are in the back, Marines are in the back, and the medics and the Firebats in the bunkers. Also has a couple of turrets already there on the side. He managed to sneak in right past the Wraith and finds himself a nice path into the base. Will he get there? Will he arrive on the scene? SCVs are not being pulled away. One there, he doesn't get a shot off. Gets a shot off on some Marines, but he doesn't get a shot off on the SCVs, so the SCVs stay alive. And aMeba gets his income secured. But another Templar drop here is on the way. That's what I was talking about earlier. Immediate switch up into the Templar drop. Gets 1 storm, gets 2 storms, but doesn't really get any of the SCVs though. But he gets some SCVs there on the top, and some Marines there as well. But no real damage has been dealt to aMeba. Pretty well played setup there by Luckyback, but also pretty well played there by aMeba, who is showing that he definitely does have some of the chops required to play Terran versus Protoss at almost the highest level, or possibly the highest level. It all depends on where the game goes from here, because now it's going to become very, very difficult for aMeba to pull off a very solid play. Although now tank drop here coming in, he's pulling his probes away to safety really quickly, but he'll just lose about 20 probes there in the process of getting tank dropped. Really great tank drop there from aMeba. Luckyback makes a small mistake, doesn't have enough cannons there on the top side and the units there as well. So he winds up losing most of his probes, which will slow him down, but he does now, right now, at this moment, have the chance to equalize the game with this drop that he's setting out over the map. Will aMeba intercept it, or will it reach destination and kill some SCVs? It depends. It entirely depends on where it's going to fly in from. If he flies in from the top side there, he's got a great chance. If he flies in from the front there, flies into a Wraith, but the Wraith will not take down those shuttles. The Marines have just been relocated to a different location, so he can actually unload in range of it. Get some pretty good storms off, but he doesn't kill any SCVs there, mostly just Marines. So the delay... He had a pretty good chance there, honestly. He had a pretty good chance, but he couldn't get it all down, which delays his ability Well, it doesn't really delay him all that much. The tank drop delayed him, but it does give aMeba more time to build up and start feeling secure. But it all comes down to if Luckyback can pull himself and crawl himself back into the match. He comes in with the drop here. He's got about 5 Templars in there, 6 Templars in total. Starts unloading next to the minerals. The minerals, will he get those damage? Will he get those storms on the SCVs? 1 storm, 2 storms, 3 storms, 4 storms. Most of the storms miss. He does lose a couple of his SCVs. Most of the SCVs there stay alive, but he still have a Templar in there. There's no more Templars in there, so he's just going to pull his shuttles back to his base, load up a new drop here on the scene, although Templars are yet to finish up. Trying to clear out the sides there with this Dark Templar, but there's nothing there on the sides. Well, it's nothing that the Dark Templar can kill. Another dropship coming out there for aMeba. He's going to try to go for the bottom corner here. At least that's what I think, but I think he got spotted out by the Dragoons, so I think Luckyback, well, maybe he wasn't looking at the minimap at the exact timing, but there's a small chance Luckyback is preparing himself for the defense against that dropship because he's moving his Zealot there into position to help with taking down the tanks. The drop there comes in from Luckyback. He's going for the minerals. He's going for the minerals. The Marines are being stimmed to location. There's a Reaver there on the scene. Reaver gets shot off on the Marines, and he got a shot off on more Marines, so he doesn't quite get the SCVs, although he is trying to. He doesn't quite get the results that he needed or wanted. So the game once again is still in favor of aMeba, but aMeba has having trouble building his base because he's forced to pull off his workers from the minerals pretty much every single minute, and that does slow a person down. And maybe his APM is not high enough to keep up all the required actions to build a base while defending at the same time. Another dropship comes in, 2 tanks are unloading, but neither of the tanks get shot off on the probes. All the probes there stay alive, so Luckyback this time around does not get slowed down, but the racing against the clock is still on. So aMeba, well, still pretty small actually. 5 barracks, 5 factories, mostly trying to rebuild, get his armories, depots, turrets up and running. Another drop is there on the way, comes in uncontested, unspotted, but there's some Marines there in between, but he unloads on top of the Marines there. That's a pretty great choice there, because there's almost no units here in the front for aMeba. He cannot get close to those bunkers though, because the Zealots will go down, but he's getting... aMeba is pulling all of his Marines there to the fight, and this might actually look like Luckyback is going to get some results with these Zealots and the Templars. Templars killed a lot of Marines there. Does he still have more storms? No more storms there. Just killed a little bit of stuff, but another drop already being loaded up here inside of the base. He's really pushing himself to keep the pressure up. One drop lands in the enemy base, and he already starts unloading, well, uploading another one. So I think there's about 30 seconds or maybe 40 seconds in between each of these drops, which does not give aMeba a lot of time to recover. This drop though is a mass drop. There's a lot of units in there. He starts unloading each of them one by one. He gets a brutal storm of all those SCVs, but only kills about 6. A lot of storm there coming down. Dark Templars there in the mix as well. This time the storm there gets a beautiful storm off there, kills all the SCVs he had on the minerals there. A couple of them are still alive. More storms there on the way. The Dark Templars are wreaking havoc. That was a beautiful drop there. Only 20 SCVs left there for aMeba, and there's units dying everywhere inside of his base. He doesn't have detection there in the back, so this Dark Templar there on the scene is dealing some real damage. He doesn't have scans left, so he's even losing more of his units there in the back. Vessel now moving to the back so he can take care of those units. High Templar and the Dark Templar both end up dying, and another drop already being loaded up with the same shuttles that he preserved from that last drop, being used to pick up new Zealots and sending them right into the fray. This is some top tier drop play, really well played here from Luckyback, and aMeba played it really well in the first half, off of the back of that, well, off of the speed that he got off of that tank drop, but he's failing to find any success at the moment because he keeps on losing units, keeps on losing SCVs, and is incapable of building a base and getting a bigger mass. That's a lot of great storms are coming down on those Marines. And now the Zealots have free roaming inside of aMeba's base, and he will have to once again pull all of his units from the back to the front to defend against this. Well, there's a lot of fire bats here now, a lot of tanks there as well, but he only has, he has 1-1 upgrade, so that's pretty well done there from aMeba, whereas Luckyback is on 2-1-1, which is definitely a greater upgrade for the Protoss than it is for the Terran, but aMeba is at the moment still hanging in there. So level 1 upgrade for both his mech and his bio, so he's doing quite well despite the constant harass and abuse there from Luckyback. But this drop here coming in looks to be pretty dangerous. There's a lot of Corsairs there to take focus away from the shuttles. aMeba there is responding. He's trying to focus on some of the shuttles with his Goliaths, but he's not going to take them all down. And there's a lot of clumped up tanks there to unload on top of, which Luckyback is doing exactly, which means these tanks are going to go down. Great Storms on the Goliaths, means they're stepping in from the back to the front, or from the front to the back. Same for Goliaths. And all the units here going down. Didn't lose any of his SCVs there, but his SCVs are at the moment not mining, but he does not have any units left there in his base to defend. And he calls it GG because he knows that the next drop is going to come in, which is this one. Although there's no shuttles here, the shuttles are still flying back to base, but he knows that once this gets picked up, it is a done and over game for aMeba. Luckyback wins this one pretty convincingly, despite losing 30 or so, well, 20 or 30 probes to a tank drop pretty early on in the match, but he managed to recover himself with really great drop and shuttle play, really accurate storms, great target selection, and great mix-up of dropping in the front, on the side, and in the back, or on top of the minerals, and then unloading on top of units, storming units, and keeping himself in the game and keeping SobijaMajor really small in terms of army size. So really well played by both players. Thumbs up, although maybe a thumbs down. No thumbs down. Nah. Well, it would have been fun to see aMeba win this, because it's always more fun to see a Terran win than a Protoss, because Protoss tends to kind of win most of the time. Nonetheless, well played.